and welcome. The world is changing. For better or for worse, we don't know yet, but this is the age of AI, artificial intelligence. Now, while companies pour in billions and billions of dollars into tech breakthroughs and innovations, there is a real and direct repercussion on your life and your future. Now, on the AI Report every week, we bring you stories that are at this cross-section of, oh wow, how AI is changing the world, to, oh no, how is it messing around with me and you? But before we get into all of that for this week, here's what changed the world of AI last week. Take a look. First up, OpenAI unveils its long-awaited web browser, the ChatGPT Atlas. Now, the AI-powered tool is built around the firm's popular chatbot as it tries to capitalize on 800 million weekly active ChatGPT users. Next up, Google loses as much as $150 million in revenue after ChatGPT Atlas web browser gets launched. Now, Taiwanese chip maker TSMC rides the AI boom to smash past projections and score a record-breaking third-quarter profit of $15 billion. That's up about 40%. British MI5 spy agency leader Ken McCallum warns AI systems acting without human control could pose security threat and elevate discord by hostile actors. McCallum says AI used by the British security services to make work more effective. Amazon, meanwhile, is speeding up automation of its warehouses with the help of AI and robotics, raising questions about the future of human workers. Now, Blue Jay robotic arms are built to be as capable of efficiency picking, sorting, as well as consolidating at a single workstation. These were among AI-enhanced equipment items demonstrated by Amazon at a conference held in Silicon Valley. So those are the headlines. Now let's dive into our first AI report for this week. The transformations in AI are so obvious that even a blind person can see them, quite literally. That's right, blind people may get the gift of sight, not by God, but God-like powers that microchips are capable of unleashing. That's the first story today. A microchip implant at the back of an eye has helped a blind person read again. Now, this happened at the Moorfields Eye Hospital in London. The patient, a middle-aged lady by the name Sheila, who lost her vision 30 years ago due to a condition called the dry age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, is able to read again with the help of special glasses. The microchip, as thin as the human hair, was implanted at the back of her retina in the test case. And the camera on the glasses fed back the vision to her brain using that microchip implant, which gave her the same sensory feeling of seeing and even reading a novel after 30 full years. Now, while this technology is not yet licensed for commercial use, it becomes just another modern-day example of how even blindness could be a thing of the past. Imagine technology eradicating darkness and the impact that it would have on millions. Let's get deeper into that technology. We have Gaurav Tripathi, the Chief Technology Officer at InnoPlexus, joining me today. Now, remember, InnoPlexus provides AI solutions to medical practitioners and hospitals across the world. Gaurav, thank you so much for taking the time, and it's a pleasure to have you join us here on the AI Report. Now, we know of smart glasses. We know of the Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses, but this takes smart glasses to an all-new level that a blind person is able to read again. Too good to be true, or is it indeed true?
No, it is very much true. We are entering into an age of neuroprosthetics with that, and this is a remarkable achievement today that we've seen.
All right, and explain that to us. What is this difficult term that you just used? Neuro what?
Neuroprosthetics. So
neuroprosthetics. Okay, we understand prosthetics to do with the limbs, but neuroprosthetics, I understand, has something to do with the brain. Explain to us, how does that technology work?
So the implant that you referred to, Kartik, earlier, That's for the first time where we are seeing that at a nano. So what the implant has, the chip has nano electrodes which connect with our nerves there, and we for the first time we are actually seeing that signals going from there directly, within the body with to the brains. That's
Okay.
happening for the first time in real world. And just to tell you what is happening, yeah, the glasses are helping reconstruct the image using AI, and these electrodes are mimicking the natural how the natural retinal signals work. So this is what is happening.
All right, interesting. You said that that there is obviously an AI component here, but you're also mentioning that this neuroprosthetics is a new science. How different is it from, let's say, a Neuralink, which is a recent example of brain implants? And going back into history, even Stephen Hawking used the best tech available to be able to at least communicate with the world fairly seamlessly. So how new is this technology, and how is the AI interface sort of working differently in this case than it has in the past?
So this is very much on the lines of what we have been seeing with Neuralink. Very much. The only difference here is that since Neuralink is already been there, the
Yeah.
scale at which this implant is working is, they have shrinked it further. The
Okay.
efficiency here, of course, they have been able to improve. And the AI component here has actually helped the quality of signals. Like, it is really getting close to mimicking the actual biological, like how we as humans, we are able to see, the visual signals. That is where the interesting achievement is.
Fantastic. Now, just help us understand. I mean, there are millions of blind people in the world. I don't have the number, but it's got to be a huge number. How quickly can a technology like this be scaled up at a mass adoption level? And what is going to be the cost implications of doing it for the medical fraternity and even for the end user? So the timelines for this to really get all the approvals, all the go-aheads and get implemented, and how much is it going to cost a person the invaluable gift to see again?
Here, it is going to take the same path as a few years back we saw revolutions in cochlear implants. Nowadays, when we see cochlear implants, they're still like the best ones are still in a couple of lakhs Indian rupees.
Okay.
But when they
Okay.
started, they were 20 times expensive, and that is where this technology right now is in the scale of 30 to 60,000 pounds right now. But
All right.
as with all technologies, we have seen the cost will drop drastically in just like a 5-year time frame.
Uh-huh.
We are going to like this. This will reach the hands of particular patients in the West, and then within further 2-3 years post that, I see that prices will come down at the same, more or less the same level, like under 5 lakh Indian rupees should reach.
Right. All right. Well, of course, that's an estimate right now, but that's literally the power of technology. That's literally the power of artificial intelligence. And if it can get a blind person to see, what more can you expect from AI? Soon, AI can also destroy cancer stem cells. How about that? Can artificial intelligence beat cancer? Well, some researchers in the US say yes. Now, scientists at the University of California, San Diego have developed a new approach of destroying cancer stem cells. Now, those hard to find cells that help cancer spread and even come back after treatment and resist therapy. This new approach uses AI to identify treatments that can reprogram cancer stem cells within the human body, ultimately triggering them to self-destruct. Sounds like Mission Impossible, doesn't it? Well, now the machine learning driven systems biology framework called Cancer Associated Nodes for Differentiation Targeting, or simply put, CANDIT, only targets cancer cells without reportedly affecting surrounding tissues. Researchers report on applying their approach to colon cancer. They suggest their strategy could be a safer and more precise alternative to current therapeutic approaches. Gaurav Tripathi, the Chief Technology Officer at Innoplexis, continues to be with us today. Gaurav, from machine learning to human cell learning, explain to us how this latest technology of training the stem cells to self-destruct work.
First, I'll clarify that it's not AI itself which is manipulating the cells. Like AI is not directly getting into the cell, but what AI is doing, it's analyzing, helping analyze massive data sets, multi-omics, it's called gene expression, protein interactions, metabolic pathways. And then it uses to predict that there are certain molecules that can influence this cell behavior. And then it is validated in the lab. There are technologies called CRISPR, RNA interference, or even getting other small molecules that can actually then reprogram that cell. Yeah.
All right. So it's not actually that the stem cells are being taught how to fight or how to not degenerate. It is basically a pattern which is being assessed using artificial intelligence, and that is then implemented using traditional technologies like dRNA and CRISPR that you mentioned.
Correct. So it's pattern recognition all the way. Yeah.
Right. So the test results seem to be good for colon cancer. You think the same technology has the potential to be replicated for all other cancers?
100%. Because if we look at medically, and it's in oncology or in all types of cancers, a lot of these cancers have commonalities, similar pathways, different elements, and that is where we see that if it is held in one type of a cancer, it for sure holds big promise for a lot of other types of cancers for maybe similar patient sets or different patient sets.
All right. And again, from a lab setting to the real world use, talk to us about the efficacy of such experiments and what are some of the challenges that you see hospitals, medical professionals deal with in taking a new technology into its implementation phase?
So here, of course, there is the timeline and the process wherein it needs to go through the regulatory phase and so on, that it will take its own time. But here, the important thing is we are moving more towards what we call the precision oncology, where it is literally what will work on a very small set of patients given their genetic profile, or it may be that we are able to narrow down on you as a person, very precise therapy just for you. The challenge stems from that only, that how do you scale it up at a population level, because everybody's genetic is different. Every population type, the genetic makeup is, and that is the true challenge, that yes, the cost involved right now in genetic profiling of individuals is still a bit high for hospitals, especially when we talk about a country like India. But I think there again, it's a matter of time. We are already seeing the costs coming down drastically. So we should be hopeful that very soon we should be able to reach that scale.
All right. And when it does reach that scale, Gaurav, is it the end user, the patient, that has to bear the burden of the cost? Or do you think the cost in any case is going to go down for hospitals and they should be able to, in fact, make cancer treatment only cheaper for patients?
See, it will be both ways, depending on, as always, such technologies, initially, the way it works commercially, that the burden will be more on the patients. But as we have seen, especially in India, eventually the hospitals, given the scale, we are able to bring down the cost further. So the hospitals are able to get it. Then, of course, for a lot of these, we already see the insurance coming forward, it starts getting covered in some of the other plans. And then, of course, eventually the government, if government takes a stand that, yes, we have to make this available, given the scale, they can subsidize it massively.
All right. If the government trusts these new technologies, I'm sure they can subsidize it for the end users. But moving on now to our next story. Can ChatGPT be trusted at all? Now, with all the hallucinations and fact-check failures, it seems like a bad idea to deploy ChatGPT as a replacement for humans. But what if I told you that there is a ChatGPT-like tool for doctors to use. Would that scare you? Because investors don't seem to be scared at all with a doctor-doctor version of AI. Now, a company by the name OpenEvidence, a ChatGPT for doctors, has raised as much as $200 million to reach a valuation of $6 billion. The fresh funds come 3 months after the startup raised as much as $210 million round at a valuation of $3.5 billion, a testament to the intense investor interest in industry-specific AI applications. Now, OpenEvidence has grown quickly since its founding in 2022. Its number of clinical consultations per month has nearly doubled to 15 million since July, as per reports. The big question that is yet to be answered is, can AI be trusted for medical diagnosis as well as medical treatment? Gaurav, how do we ensure that AI doesn't hallucinate in its diagnosis or its treatment?
Great question, Kartik. And we ourselves at Plexus, we have been dealing with the same question for years. One, from a technology perspective, the answer actually is something called knowledge graphs. That's the technology where Google invested billions, Microsoft, and we ourselves have invested in a lot in life science specific knowledge graph. That is where domain specific AI or now domain specific language models are coming up, which are going to be better than these general purpose language models which are behind ChatGPT like services. And the knowledge graph is where, so again, knowledge graph, something very simple. You see how the real world knowledge, the entities or the relationship, how they are connected together. That's all. So it gives a strong footing for any language model that the answer that it is giving is not so-called imagined. It's not dreaming, but it is coming from a solid scientific or a medical evidence. That's what knowledge graph provides.
So in whatever tools that you would have tested and potentially are in different stages of developing or implementing, my simple question is, in what you've seen and in your personal sort of analysis, or if there is data that can support it, Gaurav, every time a test case is given to an AI chatbot or every time it's given to a real doctor, how great is the convergence or the divergence in the diagnosis?
So here, what we have been coming across is, as you can see, there was an initial surge in physicians, these doctors using ChatGPT, and now everybody has started looking at these domain-specific models. Why? Because the divergence there, with ChatGPT, it comes at multiple levels. One, that the hallucination itself, right? And the doctors could see, no, it's wrong. Second, the quality of answer. What happens is here when a doctor is looking at it and is consulting in AI, they need to the point specific answer. But ChatGPT, as you see, it gives tendency is to give a longer answers. And for doctors, that's a challenge because they are experts. They don't need like the entire a 3-page essay on it. They just need a to the point 2-line answer. That is where these models are struggling, and that is where now with the newer models and newer services which are specific to this domain, that is where we are seeing a surge again where doctors have started trusting this because to the point answer, brief answer really with specific evidence from scientific or medical world, and that is where now we see it's heading.
Right. So, Gaurav, I have grown up in an era where doctors would every time tell us not to Google up our symptoms and not to look at WebMD. And here we are talking about a scenario where doctors are potentially relying to some extent on these engines to understand a diagnosis themselves. It just seems to be a little bit in the dangerous territory. My question to you is, would it be a little more fathomable if doctors are given prompts to assess the symptoms on potential outcomes as opposed to giving a test result as per the AI chatbot's understanding?
Yes, and this is what we ourselves have experience with doctors with our own tools that now the doctors, in fact, are asking patients that, yes, use this tool, check at your own level, and then feel free to come to us with questions. We have seen that happening in US already. And
Right.
this is where we see that for patients, it's going to be very interesting that I think it will establish a mutual trust that the patient also knows that my doctor also, yes, it uses AI, but
Yeah.
when I'm going to the doctor, it actually is able to give me something beyond the AI. I think that is where the real value is.
All right. Well, let's stay with this story and let's move from the medical use of this story to the investor interest in that story. Amit Kumar Ranjan, the executive editor at News9, is here to tell us a little more about the investor interest in artificial intelligence. Amit, thanks for being here. Very simply put, we've seen the days of ChatGPT and we've seen the rise of OpenAI. Now is medical AI the next goldmine for investors?
Looking by the people who are investing in this round, there's Google Ventures, there's Blackstone, just to name a few. So the amount of interest that the industry has gotten into this venture is very, very clear. And going by the trend, the valuation is 6 billion here. Let's remember, YouTube was bought by Google for 1.65 billion way back in 2006. It's
20 years back, time value of
hundreds
money.
of billions
Right.
of dollars worth today.
Right.
Facebook, $1 billion, they bought Instagram. Again, hundreds of billions of dollars today. Microsoft acquired, this is as recent as 2023, for 13 billion, they acquired their little stake that they have, which they're converting into equity now
Right.
in OpenAI. So the trend that this industry is being looked up to by the people within the industry, the giants in the industry, tells a story that this could be a potential gold mine. We are only looking at the success stories, all right, but it looks to be a potential gold mine.
All right. And just a follow-up question, Amit. We know that competition in AI firms is at its peak right now. Too early for consolidation to start taking place, in your opinion? Or do you think we are going to see consolidation, buyouts, and those takeovers happening, in the next couple of months, if not years?
Right from the time of the dot-com bubble, that has been the trend in this tech industry, that there is a bubble, there is interest, money comes into it, and then, as you say, there are takeovers, there are buyouts, and there are consolidations.
All right, Amit Kumar Ranjan, as well as Gaurav, thank you so much for your time, and what a pleasure it's been talking to both of you. So far, so good with AI this week, but beyond medicine and beyond automation, there are jobs at stake, and that's the perennial threat with artificial intelligence. Let's start off with one story that emerged this week. Now, Amazon is speeding up automation of its warehouses with the help of AI as well as robotics, raising questions about the future of human workers. The e-commerce giant, known for its promise of quick deliveries, showed off robotic arms and other high-tech warehouse tools in Silicon Valley, saying AI is not only powering innovations but accelerating how quickly they are developed by the second largest employer in the United States. Now meet Blue Jay. That's the robotic arm built as capable and efficiency picking, sorting and consolidating at a single workstation. This was among AI-enhanced equipment items demonstrated by Amazon at a conference held in a massive distribution center in Silicon Valley. The arrival of Blue Jay being tested in South Carolina follows that of a Vulcan robot early this year that Amazon described as having a sense of touch while tending to its duty, helping fulfill orders for customers. Amazon Robotics chief technologist Ty Brady credited AI with slashing the time it took to design and build as well as deploy Blue Jay by some 2/3 to just slightly more than a year. That's the power of AI, Brady said. I expect more rapid development cycles like this. We are on a trajectory to supercharge the scale and impact of innovation with our operations, is what Brady also said. He also dismissed concerns that enhancing warehouses with robotics and AI will mean fewer jobs for humans, saying Amazon has created more US jobs in the past decade than any other company. However, the New York Times on Tuesday reported that robotics could let Amazon avoid hiring 160,000 workers in just 2 years, even as its online retail business grows. Now, automation of Amazon warehouses could cut the need to hire, particularly when it comes to temporary workers needed for peak holiday shopping demands. This is the death knell for non-skilled and semi-skilled jobs. Is it finally here? We leave you with that thought. But moving on now to another story. From one big tech to another. Meta AI apps' daily active users across iOS and Android platforms jumped to 2.7 million last week, up from just 750,000 4 weeks ago. That's a 4x jump in 4 weeks. In addition, Meta AI's app installs are also up, reaching as many as 300,000 new downloads per day, compared with under 200,000 daily downloads a few weeks ago. So what drove this jump? Do you get the vibe? Well, it's Vibes. The introduction of Vibes, an AI-generated short video feed, has fueled a significant surge in activity for Meta AI's mobile application. Now, Vibes functions as a TikTok-style full-screen feed of short-form videos generated entirely by artificial intelligence. So users can scroll through a continuous stream of AI-made clips which range from artistic, abstract visuals to surreal animated scenes. The new feature replaces the Meta AI app's previous Discover section, shifting the product's focus from simple text prompts to visual creativity as well as entertainment. Now, a key part of the Vibes experience is the creative freedom it gives users. They can generate videos from a simple text prompt, animate an existing visual, or, crucially, remix a video they see in the feed. Now, each clip displays the text prompt that generated it, offering transparency as well as inspiration to users. Users can then just adjust the visuals, music, and animation to create their own version before sharing it on Meta's platforms. Now, is it just the array of platforms that Meta AI caters to that gives it the edge over other similar AI apps? We leave you with that on this week's AI Report. See you again next week.